Hi, my name is Ariane Cerna. This is my week 2 video over the 4 main components in the blood. So first, let's start by saying that blood is created in the bone marrow. So it's a pretty cool process, and I can actually show you on the screen if you can see it. So this is kind of what I pulled up in order to figure out how the blood was created in the bone marrow. So it's created from a stem cell, which then turns into a myeloid cell, which according to what it's going to become, it could turn into a megacryoblast, which creates platelets. It could turn into a reticulocyte, which then creates red blood cells. The myeloblasts turn into white blood cells. So I thought that was pretty cool to try to understand where all of these things are created first. So there are 4 main components to the blood, as we know. Here's my chart. So there are plasma, white blood cells, which are leukocytes, platelets, and red blood cells, which are erythrocytes. So we can start off by talking about plasma. Plasma is the largest portion of your blood. It makes up about 55% of the blood. It's mostly water. So when we're told to hydrate when we donate blood or have to do a blood test, it's because of that. Our blood is a lot of water, and it makes it easier for the phlebotomist to take that blood because it pumps up those veins. So the blood is mostly water, especially in the plasma. So other than water, it also has proteins, fibrinogen, antibodies, hormones, and its main job is to take all of these things and transport them throughout the body. So wherever the body is needing a hormone, an antibody, if it needs fibrin anywhere, if something's damaged, like a vessel, this is what's going to get it there, is the plasma. So it's super important. Its main job is to pretty much help in the coagulation process in forming that clot. So it does house the fibrinogen, which, as we know, is very important for forming a clot, a blood clot. So next, we are going to talk about white blood cells, which are leukocytes. So this is less than 1% of the blood, so it's very, very, very small. This works with the immune system. So take any time that we're feeling sick, the cold, the flu, pneumonia, you name it, these white blood cells is what's going to help us get healthy. So they are our first line of defense when a bacteria, a pathogen, a virus, anything enters into our body. They are going to go and try to destroy that pathogen. They want to get it out of our bodies. They recognize it as a threat. So they are super important and vital in keeping us healthy. They're stored in our blood and also our lymph tissues, and they're very important. Next, we also have the platelets. So the platelets are super important, as we talked about the fibrinogen. So the platelets need to become activated in order to form that platelet plug. So this is what's going to slow down the bleeding if we get injured. So say we have a cut, that platelet is going to get activated. It's going to become very sticky, and it's going to go to where our cut is, and it's going to make that plug. But it needs the fibrin to kind of mesh over that platelet plug in order for it to not be moved. So as we know, like I said, that fibrinogen is going to become activated. We have to do that through the coagulation cascade, which goes through extrinsic pathways, forming that fibrin in order to get it to this platelet plug. So those two things definitely work together and are vital in the coagulation process. And last, we have the red blood cells. So the red blood cells, I believe, are the most known blood cells. They're also called erythrocytes. They make up 45% of our blood. So they're that red dense portion at the bottom of the tube, right there. So I think that this is one of the easiest ones that we know about, just because I feel like we've been taught this pretty much in all of our science classes throughout school. So red blood cells' main job is to transport that oxygen we're breathing in. It wants to get it to the body so that all of our organs and tissues can be oxygenated. It works with the circulatory system in order to do so. So when we breathe in, it's transporting that oxygen. When we breathe out, it's actually exporting that carbon dioxide, which we don't want in our body. So it's definitely super important. So all of these blood components are vital in keeping homeostasis for our body. It's vital for us to be able to form clots and, have blood flowing throughout our body, oxygenating us, making sure that nutrients is being provided, making sure that bacteria and viruses are being fought against. So the blood components are actually very important to us, and it's been really cool just being able to break it down and learn more about how the blood works.